baby, coconut baby, coconut baby. All right, I am down here now because I cannot figure anything out to aim this camera properly, so we're just gonna go with it. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, you know, and these times we really just have to adapt with changes that come our way. So I've been wanting to make a video for a while now on what's going on in the world. Oh my god! I know that a lot of us are experiencing a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and all these things being so high are not going to help our ability to get through this. And so that's why I want to come in here and help anyone who I possibly can help to banish that stress, banish those fears, banish that anxiety, or at least, you know, let it fade into the background, because I'm not perfect. I've had my fair share of anxiety going through all this stuff too. And it can be crippling if you allow it to overtake your life. It's kind of like there's a storm, and this storm has rolled in with these big dark clouds and thunder and lightning, and we can choose to stay inside our homes where we'll be safe and dry and warm, or we can look out the window and get lost in the storm and engulf ourselves in it and obsess about it and imagine as if we're already in the storm and just freak the out. Or we can step the fuck outside and go head on right into the storm. So we have a lot of choices in this situation, and it really depends on what we focus on right now. And I think that we can actually use this as a tool for good when it comes to our mental health. So I want to talk a little bit about my friend fear and what fear can do to us and why we need to not fear during these times, why it doesn't even make sense. But also why we're having that response, because it's a perfectly natural response to something that's threatening our lives, right? So, do-do-do, do-do-do. So the reason why so many of us respond to things like this with fear is because we're influenced by a lot of things around us, particularly the media. Not to say that we shouldn't take this virus seriously. Obviously, it's a serious thing that's really happening. It's just that when you're constantly watching the news, reading the news articles, sharing all that shit all over social media, you are drowning yourself in the fear. And so it's important to take some time to take a step back from this stuff. Turn off the TV, get off social media, go outside. It's beautiful. Mother Nature has gifted us with really beautiful days in April. Am I traumatizing my baby? Our brains are not wired to go, you know what? The world's ending. We got a pandemic going on. There's fires here and tornadoes there. Let's relax. Our brains aren't wired to do that. Our brains are wired to help us survive. And so when they learn that there's any sort of threat out there, they go on survival mode. For some of us, that becomes fight or flight, fight or flight, flight or flight, fight or flight. Oh, Daisy decided to join us. For some of us, that becomes fight or flight, and it can lead to panic attacks. It can lead to constant anxiety or constant stress. It can even lead to depression. And there are ways to have tools to manage these things. And being someone who manifested a lot, like I believe, manifested a lot of illness and anxiety and all that stuff into my life, and then realized that I didn't have to do that anymore. I have found some really good coping skills, and so today I would like to share some of those with you. So yeah, as I said, tip number one would actually be shut off the news, shut off the media, get off social media for once in your life, okay? And I'm talking to myself here. No, but really, we're all guilty of scrolling a little too much on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you like to use. I'm not judging you, Pornhub. And it's easy to get lost in that world and let it depress us, let it become addictive, and then we forget what it's like to have the sun on our face, or to breathe fresh air, or to hear a robin sing. Excuse me. Actually schedule time to get off of these things, shut the TV off, and take some time to just be with ourselves. Number 2, get creative. Even if you're not a naturally creative person, just go for it. When we're creative, it activates this part of our brain that actually settles our vagus nerve, regulates our nervous system, and it helps us just concentrate and live in the moment. And that's why. So tip number 3, live in the moment. Find what you can do that helps you live in the moment. Every time you find that your mind is starting to wander, pivot, bring it back to this moment. Is something in this moment life-threatening right now? No matter, like, if you're watching this video, I'm sure that your life isn't under threat, unless you're one of the unfortunate ones in the hospital, which my heart goes out to you. It's very likely that for a lot of us, our life isn't under threat at this exact moment right now. Right now, how do you feel? Do you feel anxious about what might happen? Do you know for a fact that it's going to happen? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen to us, what's going to happen around us, or to people we know. We don't know anything for a fact. And I think that it's this uncertainty that creates that amount of anxiety within us, just not knowing what's around the corner. And so that's why we have to keep bringing ourselves back to the moment. It's very important. It's one of the main keys in fighting your anxiety is pivoting back into the moment. So if you catch yourself daydreaming or wondering or obsessing about the future or even the past, snap out of it, pivot yourself back to this exact moment right now, whatever moment you're in. I have a reminder above my desk that says the time is now, because it's true. The time is always now, and now is the only time that ever matters. It's the only real thing happening is right now. The future does not exist yet. The past is gone. It's a story now. All we have is now. I hope that makes sense. And if you want to read further into developing your practice of living in the now, I would highly, highly, highly recommend Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. Says it in the title. It changed my life when I read it, and I've read it a few times since, and I would read it again. It's got a lot of amazing insight in there, and sometimes it takes a few read-throughs to like really grasp the concept of living in the now. But once you start to grasp it, it just completely changes the direction of your thoughts. I know there can be a lack of motivation when it comes to depression and anxiety. And you can feel like you're stuck in a hole, but I'm here to tell you right now, as someone who has been in that hole time and time again, that you can get out of it, and you can be okay, and you can feel better. You just have to do these things. You have to force yourself to do it. Everything in you is going to tell you not to, because your brain is in that survival mode. And because your brain is in that survival mode, it's going to do anything it can to protect you. But how you're going to start rewiring your brain to want to achieve the goals that make you happy is you're going to, if anything you're going to envision in the future, it's going to be how you'll feel when all of this ends. When you can go outside and gather with your friends, when you can run to the grocery store without fearing someone coughing on you, when you can get together for meals with your family again. Imagine how good it's going to feel when we get there, because we will get there. We will get there. And that's the thing you want to keep remembering. Tip number 5, and this is one that I need to do more, exercise. Exercise has been proven again and again and again and again to help with anxiety and depression. And I think it's one of the hardest things for us to do because we lack that motivation, and it's really hard to tell yourself, let's go for a little jog, or even let's do some stretches. It's time to start making your brain associate what's happening with pleasure. I know that sounds weird, but right now you're associating it with fear and doom and gloom and anxiety, and you're looking at the whole potential mess that doesn't even exist. Not saying that the virus doesn't exist, let me make that clear. I'm just saying you don't know what the future holds for you and your life or your loved ones. All you know is right now, everything's okay, you are safe. You are safe. You are more safe than you think that you are. And you want your brain, if it's gonna imagine a future, to imagine that future of this being all over, of you feeling better, and start associating it with pleasure and all the things that you can do to develop yourself in the meantime. It's okay if you have days where you sit on the couch and you don't do anything. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure it's not every day. Make sure that you're not allowing the fear to consume you and swallow you whole. Make sure that you are making an effort for your mental health and for the health of yourself in general, because it's really easy to fall into that pattern of despair and fear. And it's really important right now that we get out of that pattern, because fear lowers our immune system. Fear really does a wreck and a havoc on our bodies, and fear is only there to protect us, and then we can tell it to sit in the background. I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call if things, get really ugly, but for now, everything's okay. Start repeating affirmations. Tip number 6. Repeat affirmations to yourself if you have to. Say, I am safe. I am safe. Repeat that again and again and again, because you are safe. You are going to be okay. Even if you catch this virus, the chances of you overcoming this are a lot higher when you're not living in fear. So I guess that's about it for today. I am sorry if I wasn't serious enough. I do take this situation very seriously. And I mean, it's a scary thing, and it's okay to be scared. Just make sure that you're not living in fear. Make sure that's not who you become and it doesn't consume you. All right? Okay. Until next time.